The Young and the Restless spoilers full Diane Jenkins Abbott may be standing at the edge of one of the most terrifying crises she has ever faced. And this time, the danger does not come from a courtroom, a family feud, or the usual web of suspicion that has followed her for years. It comes from Patty Williams, whose impulsive and desperate actions may have transformed a plan meant to silence Jack Abbott into a nightmare that could leave Diane fighting for her life. The Young and the Restless has often pushed its characters into impossible situations where love, guilt, obsession, and revenge collide in explosive ways, but this latest turn is especially cruel because Diane was never meant to be the target of Patty's syringe. Patty's original mission was simple in the most horrifying sense. Slip into Jack's hospital room, use the deadly contents of that syringe, and make certain Jack never woke up again to expose her as the person truly responsible for his attack. Jack had become the one living threat Patty could not control. As long as he remained unconscious, Patty could keep spinning her version of events. She could keep Diane under suspicion, keep Markham's lies alive, and keep Genoa City trapped inside the illusion she had created. But if Jack opened his eyes with a clear memory of what happened, the entire structure of Patty's deception would collapse instantly. That is why Patty's decision to sneak into his room was not merely reckless. It was the act of someone who knew her freedom, her revenge, and her twisted sense of justice were all running out of time. What makes this situation even more devastating is that Diane, who has already been framed, judged, and pushed into a position of unbearable fear, now becomes the one who physically suffers for trying to stop Patty. Y and R fans saw Patty slip into Jack Abbott's room with that syringe, and the implication was chilling from the very beginning. Whatever was inside, it was not meant to sedate, confuse, or slow someone down. Patty went there with the intention of permanently silencing Jack. She wanted to erase the only man who could identify her as the real attacker, and in doing so, she hoped to secure Diane's downfall forever. But soap opera chaos rarely follows the villain's plan exactly. Diane's confrontation with Patty, the sudden chase, the panic, and the unexpected injection into Diane's neck on the July 9 episode changed everything. In one violent second, the weapon Patty prepared for Jack became the very thing that could destroy Diane instead. The show has not yet revealed what was inside the syringe, which only increases the tension. Was it a fast-acting poison? A powerful drug that could shut down Diane's body? A medical compound stolen from the hospital and used in the most dangerous possible way? The mystery matters because Patty's intention gives us all the information we need to understand the stakes. She did not carry that syringe as a threat. She carried it as a final solution. Now Diane has been injected with it, and Kyle Abbott may soon be forced to watch doctors fight desperately to keep his mother alive. Kyle's devastation could become one of the emotional centers of this storyline because the situation strikes at every wound he already has. His father is recovering from a brutal attack, his mother has been accused and endangered, and the truth he has been trying to prove keeps slipping further into chaos. Kyle has been desperate to protect Diane, clear her name, and hold his family together long enough for Jack to wake up and explain what really happened. But if Diane collapses because of Patty's syringe, Kyle will no longer be fighting just a legal battle or a reputational battle. He will be forced into the worst kind of helplessness, standing in a hospital corridor, while doctors race to undo damage caused by a substance no one fully understands yet. The irony is almost unbearable. Diane may survive only because Patty attacked her inside the hospital. If this had happened in an alley, a parking garage, the Abbott mansion, or any place far from emergency care, Diane might have had no chance at all. Her location could be the one factor that saves her life. The medical team can act immediately. They can stabilize her, search for signs of poisoning, monitor her breathing, run blood tests, administer countermeasures, and do everything possible before the substance spreads too far or causes irreversible damage. That does not mean Diane will simply open her eyes and recover by the next day. In fact, the more dramatic and logical outcome may be that Patty's injection leaves Diane in a coma, suspended between life and death, while everyone else deals with the emotional wreckage. A coma would be a painfully fitting development because it would mirror Jack's own vulnerable state while deepening the tragedy between him and Diane. Jack may be awake and aware in upcoming episodes, but that does not mean he will immediately be strong enough to handle the truth about Diane. His family may decide to keep the worst of it from him, at least at first. They may tell themselves they are protecting him, that his body is still too fragile, that the shock could set back his recovery, and that he needs time before learning that the woman he loves may never wake up. This kind of decision would be understandable, but it would also create a new emotional trap. Jack is not a man who accepts silence easily, especially when the silence surrounds Diane. If he wakes and Diane is not there, he will feel the absence immediately. Diane would be at his bedside, if she could be. She would be holding his hand, crying with relief, defending herself, explaining what happened, and demanding that he remember the truth. If she is missing, Jack will know something is wrong. At first, his family may try to cover it gently. They may say Diane is resting, speaking with doctors, handling legal matters, or recovering from the stress of everything that happened. But Jack knows Diane's heart. He knows that after everything they have survived, she would not stay away unless something terrible had happened. The longer his loved ones avoid his questions, the more certain he will become that they are hiding something from him. That discovery could lead to one of the most heartbreaking scenes of the storyline. Jack demanding the truth from Kyle, Tracy, Ashley, or whoever is standing closest when his patience finally breaks. He may still be weak, still connected to machines, still physically shaken, but emotionally he will be focused on Diane. He may ask why she has not come. He may ask whether she was arrested again. He may fear that Patty hurt her, and when the truth finally spills out, Jack's recovery could turn into a storm of guilt and rage. He would realize that the syringe was meant for him. Diane is in danger because Patty came to finish what she started, because Jack was the witness Patty feared, because Diane once again walked directly into the line of fire. Even if no one blames Jack, Jack may blame himself. He may feel that Diane is lying in a coma because she tried to protect him from the woman who had already attacked him. For Jack, that guilt would be crushing. He has fought so hard to build a future with Diane, to defend her, to believe in her, and to stand by her despite all the people who still doubt her. Now, just as he wakes up with the power to clear her name, Diane may be unable to hear him say it. That is the kind of emotional cruelty Y&R knows how to use well. The truth finally arrives, but the person who most needs to hear it may be unconscious. Patty's actions also raise the stakes for everyone who doubted Diane too quickly. If Diane is hospitalized because Patty injected her with a substance meant for Jack, then the whole narrative around Diane changes. She is no longer merely the woman accused of harming Jack. She becomes another victim of the same conspiracy. Every person who allowed Patty's version of events to gain traction will have to face the possibility that they helped protect the real attacker by focusing on the wrong woman. Detective pressure, hospital suspicion, legal accusations, family distrust, and public judgment could all start to look very different once Diane's medical crisis exposes the true danger Patty represents. Michael Baldwin may seize on this as the turning point he needed. If Diane was supposedly the threat, why would Patty be sneaking into Jack's room with a deadly syringe? If Diane was the criminal, why would she end up injected while trying to stop Patty? If Patty's only concern was justice, why would she carry a substance capable of killing a recovering patient? These questions could become the foundation of Diane's defense and Patty's collapse. Patty may still try to spin the situation, perhaps claiming Diane attacked her first or that the syringe was never meant to be lethal, but her credibility will be damaged beyond repair. The physical evidence, the hospital records, the timing, and Diane's condition may all point in one direction. Patty was not protecting Jack. She was trying to silence him. Still, Patty's most dangerous quality is not just her willingness to hurt people. It is her ability to twist reality around her own fear and obsession. She may convince herself that everything she has done is necessary. In her mind, Jack may have betrayed her, Diane may have stolen him, and the world may have pushed her into a corner. That kind of thinking could make her even more volatile after Diane's collapse. If Diane survives but remains unconscious, Patty may panic because Diane could eventually wake up and tell everyone what happened. If Jack wakes with his memory intact, Patty's situation becomes even worse. Suddenly, two people could expose her. That may force Patty into another desperate move, especially if Markham is still involved, or if he begins to fear that Patty has become too unstable to protect their shared secret. The partnership between Patty and Markham, if it can even be called that, may begin to fracture under the weight of their failures. Markham may blame Patty for acting impulsively, while Patty may accuse him of abandoning her or manipulating her into taking all the risk. Villains often become most dangerous when their plans begin to collapse, and Patty is already operating from a place of emotional chaos. Diane's coma may not calm the situation. It may accelerate it. For Kyle, the emotional fallout could become unbearable because he may feel pulled between two hospital rooms, two parents in crisis, and two versions of fear. With Jack, there is hope because he may be awake, conscious, and able to tell the truth. With Diane, there may be silence, machines, and uncertainty. Kyle could sit at Diane's bedside and promise her that he will not let Patty win. He could apologize for not protecting her, even though none of this is his fault. He could beg her to wake up because Jack needs her, because he needs her, because the family cannot survive another loss. This would also give Kyle a powerful reason to become more aggressive in pursuing evidence. He may no longer be satisfied with waiting for the police to connect the dots. He may pressure Michael, challenge investigators, confront anyone who helped Patty, and even take risks that worry the rest of the family. His grief may sharpen into obsession, especially if he believes Patty is still free or if Markham remains one step ahead. Kyle has always carried the weight of being Jack's son and Diane's son, and this crisis forces both identities to collide. He is not simply defending Diane's innocence anymore. He is fighting for her life and for Jack's peace of mind. Meanwhile, Jack's reaction to Diane's condition could reshape his entire recovery. Doctors may warn him that stress is dangerous, but Jack may refuse to stay passive once he learns what happened. Even if he cannot leave his bed, he can speak. He can identify Patty. He can insist that Diane was framed. He can demand that Michael use his statement. He can pressure the police to stop treating Diane like a suspect and start treating Patty like the attacker she truly is. Yet Jack's anger may also be complicated by weakness. He may want to rise, go to Diane, and confront Patty himself, but his body may not allow it. That helplessness could be devastating for a man like Jack Abbott, who has always tried to protect the people he loves through action, influence, and determination. Now he may be trapped inside his own recovery, forced to rely on others while Diane lies in danger because of him. The emotional image is powerful. Jack awake at last, but unable to reach Diane. Diane alive, but unable to wake. Kyle caught between them, Patty still casting a shadow over every breath they take. The rest of the Abbott family may also face difficult choices. Ashley and Tracy, already alarmed by Patty and suspicious of the larger truth, may decide that protecting Jack from the truth is impossible and perhaps even wrong. Tracy's instinct may be to shield Jack gently, while Ashley may argue that Jack deserves to know everything, especially if his statement is the key to saving Diane and stopping Patty. Billy could become furious that the family waited too long or that the police allowed the wrong person to remain under suspicion. The Abbott family has survived many storms, but this one cuts into their deepest loyalties. Diane has not always been easy for all of them to accept, and some may still carry old doubts about her. But seeing her nearly killed because she tried to stop Patty may force even the skeptics to reevaluate their feelings. Diane's history will not disappear, but this crisis may remind everyone that people are more than their past mistakes. In this moment, Diane is not the manipulator some still remember. She is a woman who chased danger, took the hit meant for Jack, and may now be paying the ultimate price for it. There is also a strong possibility that Diane's coma, if it happens, becomes the emotional clock ticking over the storyline. Every day she remains unconscious gives Patty more time to run, lie, or strike again. Every small movement from Diane, every flicker of her eyelids, every unstable reading on a monitor could become a source of hope or fear. If doctors do not know exactly what was injected into her, they may struggle to predict the outcome. She could wake confused, unable to speak at first, or with fragmented memories of the chase. She might remember Patty's face, but not the syringe. She might remember the injection, but be too weak to explain. Or, in true soap fashion, Diane could wake at the worst possible moment, just when Patty believes she has escaped accountability. Her first words could change everything. But until then, her silence may allow others to project their fear onto her condition. Jack may imagine the worst. Kyle may refuse to leave her side. Michael may use every legal tool available. Patty may spiral further. Markham may attempt to cover his tracks. The hospital itself could become the center of the story, not just as a place of healing, but as a battleground, where truth, guilt, and survival all collide. The tragedy of this twist is that Patty's plan was always built on fear of exposure, and yet every move she makes brings exposure closer. By attacking Jack, she created the need for a cover-up. By framing Diane, she created a legal battle that drew more attention. By sneaking into the hospital with a syringe, she created evidence of intent. By injecting Diane, she may have transformed Diane from accused woman into undeniable victim. Patty wanted to bury the truth, but she may have given the Abbott family the very proof they need to dig it out. The only question is how much damage she can cause before that truth becomes impossible to ignore. Diane's life now hangs in the balance. Jack's recovery may be shaken by the revelation, and Kyle may be pushed to a breaking point as he watches both parents suffer because of one woman's obsession. The July 9 injection may not simply be another shocking soap moment. It may be the turning point that destroys Patty's carefully constructed lies and forces Genoa City to see the full horror of what she has done. In the end, Diane's fate could become the emotional heart of the next chapter. If she survives, her survival will not be simple. She may have to recover physically, clear her name legally, and confront the trauma of knowing that she was nearly killed by the poison meant for Jack. If she falls into a coma, the Abbott family will be forced to live in a painful state of waiting, with Jack awake but tormented, and Kyle desperate for any sign that his mother can still come back to them. The writers have positioned this crisis in a way that allows every major emotion to explode at once. Guilt for Jack, fear for Kyle, rage for Ashley, heartbreak for Tracy, determination for Michael, and panic for Patty. Diane's absence from Jack's bedside will be the first clue that something is terribly wrong, and once Jack starts asking questions, no one may be able to hold back the truth for long. He may soon learn that Diane did not abandon him, did not run away, and did not stay away by choice. She was attacked while trying to stop Patty, and now she may be lying unconscious because the real villain came back to finish the job. That revelation could ignite Jack Abbott like nothing else, because if Diane does not wake up soon, Jack's first mission after surviving Patty's attack may not be recovery at all. It may be revenge, justice, and the complete destruction of every lie Patty Williams used to tear his family apart.